wakil DPD saja yang hadir. Nah, kalau bisa aku cari dosen ya. Aku betul.
Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, kami mohon sekali lagi untuk bisa.
Ladies and gentlemen, please proceed to your seat because the minister is going to enter our plenary hall very soon and we're going to start with our agenda. So please take your seat now. Thank you very much.
Untuk salah satunya yang sangat tetap baik. Tapi
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development, His Excellency Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono and Ibu Anissa Pohan Yudhoyono, and also a warm welcome to the Minister of Transmigration, His Excellency Bapak Muhammad Iftitah Sulaiman Suryanagara. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Indonesia's national anthem. Indonesia Raya. seated.
Indonesia, a vast and fertile land, where hope lies hidden in every horizon. But hope only grows when someone dares to plant it. The command has been spoken. A single voice. A single vision. We rise. Pioneers of progress. Warriors of civilization. Our mission is not just to build, but to awaken a nation's soul. Under searing skies, in the stillness of no man's land, we drove stakes into silence. We are not just laying foundations, we are claiming back time, defying the weight of delay. As energy demand surges and resources grow scarce, we do not falter. Floating solar panels, where light dances on water, point the way forward. We turn waste into power, hydropower, and geothermal energy, clean, efficient, and reliable. Fuel our sustainable future. This is not mere construction. This is resurrection. We stitch the heartbeat of a new Indonesia. One that pulses with promise and possibility. Through every obstacle, across every frontier, we press forward. We are the front line, undaunted, unwavering, toward the rise of a greater Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu.
Peace be upon our soul. Shalom. Om Swastiastu. Namo Buddhaya.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to welcome you to the opening ceremony on the International Conference on Infrastructure 2025. May we give a big round of applause for this magnificent event. My name is Rahma Alia, and it is an honor to be standing here in front of you as a Master of Ceremonies on this prestigious moment. And first and foremost, allow me to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests. The Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, Selamat pagi. And also Ibu Anissa Pohan Yudhoyono, very good morning to you as well and welcome. Vice Chairman Regional Representative Council, His Excellency Bapak Tamsil Lindrung. Selamat datang. Minister of Public Works of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Dodi Hanggodo. The Minister of Transmigration, His Excellency Bapak Iftitah Sulaiman Suryanagara. The Vice Minister of Transportation, His Excellency Bapak Suntana. The Vice Minister of Agrarian Affairs and Special Planning, Vice Head of National Land Agency, His Excellency Bapak Ossi Darmawan. And of course, other ministers from the Merah Putih Cabinet and heads of regional government, honorable ambassadors and representatives of friendly countries, and of course, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. International Conference on Infrastructure 2025 serves as a strategic platform that brings together government representatives, private sectors, and global partners in pursuit for a more sustainable, inclusive, and climate-resilient infrastructure future. And this year's theme, Sustainable Infrastructure for the Future, Innovation and Collaboration, aims to foster the exchange of ideas, strengthen collaboration, and accelerate investment in advancing adaptive infrastructure development. On that note, infrastructure development remains a national priority. Coordinated efforts and continue to advance Indonesia's vision for an inclusive, resilient, and future-ready infrastructure landscape. And now, I would like to invite you all to please direct your attention to the screen for a video from the Coordinating Ministry of Infrastructure and Regional Development.
Indonesia, a nation of over 17,000 islands, stretching across 3 time zones. Home to more than 280 million people, the 4th largest population on Earth. A land of extraordinary diversity, vast potential, and bold ambition. But also, a nation facing extraordinary challenges. With 60% of our population living in urban areas, we grapple with rising congestion, worsening pollution, and increasing demands for public services. And yet, our path forward is clear. We have to keep building infrastructure. Infrastructure that delivers real impact. Infrastructure that is resilient, inclusive, and ready for the future. We are building not only roads and bridges, but pathways to opportunity. We are opening ports and airports, not only for trade, but for shared prosperity. We are strengthening our food, energy, and water security. Not just for today, but for generations to come. We are planning cities where every child can learn, every family has a home, and every citizen has a future. Where opportunity doesn't depend on status, but is shared by all. As we are facing a climate crisis, waiting is not an option. We need to be acting with foresight, with innovation, with purpose. We need to be building climate resilience into the very foundation of our development. But we cannot do this alone. We need our partners to share knowledge, amplify impact, and grow together. This is a collective transformation, a national endeavor. Under the leadership of President Prabowo Subianto, with the steadfast support of the global community and through the collaboration of all our stakeholders, Indonesia is turning vision into action, building a future for all. And now, we are ready to share our relevant stories to the world.
Indonesia believes that sustainability is not just about surviving crisis, but about uplifting people, protecting the planet, and fostering prosperity.
Welcome to the International Conference on Infrastructure 2025. This is why we gather here: to learn, to share, to partner, to build infrastructure that is strong and sustainable, logistic systems that are integrated and efficient, communities that are not only inclusive but productive. Over the next 2 days at JICC, we convene for bold ideas, meaningful dialogue, and real commitments.
Mari kita bangun Indonesia, mari kita jaga kekayaan Indonesia, supaya kekayaan Indonesia dinikmati oleh seluruh rakyat Indonesia.
Together, we turn vision into reality for our cities, our regions, and our world. Because to build infrastructure is to build hope, to build unity, to build peace, and to build the future together.
Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now we invite the Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development to deliver his opening remarks. His Excellency Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, the stage is now yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and blessing be upon you. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good morning and welcome to Jakarta, Indonesia. Your Excellencies, Ministers of Kabinet Merah Putih, hadir bersama kita.
We have with us the Minister of Public Works, Mr. Dodi Hanggodo. We have Minister of Transmigration, Mr. Ifita Sulaiman, and the Minister of SME, Bapak Mahman Abdurrahman, and Minister of Creative Economy, Bapak Teguh Iftirasa, and the Vice Chairman of DPD Indonesia, Bapak Tamsil, and also the head of agencies, the Vice Ministers, the head of agencies whose name I apologize for not being able to mention one by one, and also the member of our parliaments.
Presence today, para gubernur dan wakil gubernur,
The governors and also deputy governors. Let's give a big round of applause for our regional leaders.
development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, allow me to share a brief personal reflection. A few years ago, I traveled to a remote village in eastern part of Indonesia. The journey took planes, boats, and hours of rough roads. When I finally arrived, a local elder welcomed me with a quiet smile and said, "We may live far from Jakarta, but our hopes are the same." That hit me very hard in my heart. That moment has never left me, because whether we are policymakers in capital cities or farmers in distant islands, our mission is shared to build a future where opportunity reaches everyone. It is with that spirit and with deep honor that I welcome you all to the International Conference on Infrastructure 2025. This year, we are proud to host participants from across 6 continents, reflecting the truly global nature of our shared mission. To each of you, whether you have traveled from afar or join us from nearby, I offer my heartfelt thanks. Your presence is more than symbolic. It reflects a collective determination for a better, more connected future. That vision finds deep resonance in the story of Indonesia itself, a vast archipelago of over 17,000 islands, home to 280 million people living across 3 time zones. From Sabang to Merauke, from Miangas to Rote, our diversity is immense, but our purpose is united. Today, Indonesia is not just confronting challenges, we are racing against 3 urgent clocks. First, the demographic clock. Over 3 million new citizens are born each year. We must scale housing, services, and opportunity to meet their demands. Second, the economic clock. We must lift millions into the middle class, share prosperity more broadly, and sharpen our global competitiveness. Third, the ecological clock. Climate change is no longer a future threat. It is a present crisis, disrupting our cities, eroding coastlines, and straining our food and water system. It is precisely against this backdrop of urgent opportunity and rising risk that we convene ICI 2025 under the theme Sustainable Infrastructure for the Future, Innovation and Collaboration. Let this not be just another forum. Let it be a launchpad for bold, transformative action. This decade will define Indonesia's trajectory. Our success will depend on what we build, how we build it, and above all, who we build it for. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today Indonesia stands at a defining moment. We are the world's 4th most populous nation, a rising middle-income economy, and a critical bridge between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. President Prabowo Subianto has laid out a clear and bold development agenda. We must secure our nation's future by strengthening food security, water security, energy security through integrated, equitable, and sustainable future. Indonesia has also set an ambitious national target to reach 8% economic growth in the coming years. To get there, we cannot rely on domestic consumption alone. We must unlock the full potential of our real economy, from farms to factories, from ports to digital platforms. That means bold investment on infrastructure. Infrastructure that reduces logistic costs and increases productivity. Infrastructure that secures water for agriculture, energy for industry, and housing for workers. Infrastructure that improves urban mobility connects rural areas, and attracts climate-aligned investment. In short, infrastructure is the foundation of inclusive, high-quality growth. If we build wisely, with resilience, equity, and urgency, we will not only reach high economic growth, but also sustain it for generations. As Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development, I have the privilege and the responsibility of ensuring this vision is translated into action. Our ministry coordinates 5 critical portfolios. Number 1, agrarian and spatial planning, which manages land use, tenure, security, and equity. Second is public works, which ensures access to clean water, sanitation, roads, and bridges. Number 3 is transportation, which integrates sea, land, and air connectivity across archipelago. Number 4 is housing and settlement areas, which works to make affordable, livable, safe communities a reality for all Indonesian. And last but not least, transmigration, which supports frontier communities and regional balance. This is not about isolated projects. It is about systems, networks, and resilience. We coordinate not just programs, but purpose. Every new highway must unlock economic potential. Every new port must integrate seamlessly into our logistics ecosystem. Infrastructure must do more than exist. It must work as a unified system to lift communities, drive opportunity, and bind the nation together. Let me now highlight 5 priority areas anchoring our infrastructure strategy under President Prabowo Subianto's vision. Number 1, infrastructure for food and water security. A self-reliant future starts with food and water security. That is why we are rehabilitating over 2.5 million hectares of irrigation, building multi-purpose dams, expanding cold storage, and strengthening agro-logistics. In Central Java, modern irrigation and resilient rural roads are already raising yields and improving farmers' incomes. We are investing not just in agriculture, but in the infrastructures that enables it to thrive. Number 2, clean energy infrastructure. Indonesia's energy future must be both secure and sustainable. We are scaling up solar, hydro, geothermal, and waste-to-energy alongside smart grids and rural electrification. Electric vehicle growth, industrial demand, and digital infrastructure will sharply increase energy demands. Our new National Electricity Supply Plan 2025-2034 targets 69.5 gigawatt in additional capacity, 76% from renewable and storage. These efforts are part of our long-term commitment to achieve net zero emissions by 2060. Number 3, seamless and equitable connectivity. We are building integrated transport corridors, rail, roads, ports, and airports, especially in underserved regions like Papua, Maluku, Nusa Tenggara, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. Connectivity must reach all corners of our archipelago. We are also accelerating digital infrastructure. Broadband is as vital as bridges in a digital economy. The growth of AI-ready data centers will expand access to education, healthcare, and opportunity nationwide. Number 4, livable and resilient cities. By 2045, over 70% of Indonesians will live in cities without actions. Today's urban challenges will become tomorrow's crisis. We are investing in affordable housing, transit-oriented development, green buildings, air quality, and flood control. In northern Java, land subsidence and sea level rise threaten millions. We are responding with a multi-phase initiative to protect coastal populations aligned with our climate adaptation goals. Cities must be not only greener, but safer, healthier, and more inclusive. And last but not least, number 5, financing reform for sustainable infrastructure. No vision can succeed without viable financing. We are building a robust ecosystem for infrastructure financing that combines innovation, partnership, and long-term value creation. This includes scaling PPPs, public-private partnerships, launching green bonds, and expanding blended finance platforms. We will work with Danantara and global partners to improve bankability and de-risk projects across sectors. We welcome global investors, not just to profit, but to partner with us in long-term transformation. These are the key topics that we will explore together over the next 2 days at ICI 2025. Indonesia is open for business. But we are also clear, investment must align with our national priorities, climate commitments, and people-first development goals. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that infrastructure is no longer just a national concern. It is part of a broader global compact that advances climate resilience, equity, and peaceful cooperation. In ASEAN, we are working to integrate transport, energy, and digital infrastructure to enhance regional connectivity, competitiveness, and supply chain resilience. In the G20, Indonesia is actively promoting infrastructure financing that is not only greener, but also fair, more accessible, and more responsive to the real needs of developing and emerging economies. Through South-South cooperation, we are sharing practical models of inclusive and climate-aligned infrastructure. These range from coastal protection and rural electrification to blended finance instruments and digital connectivity for remote communities. Our approach is grounded in humility and purpose. We are here to learn, to lead, and to co-create. As the world's third largest democracy and a natural bridge between Asia, Africa, and the Pacific, Indonesia stands ready to contribute to a global development agenda that is not only sustainable, but also just. Because prosperity must be inclusive, and sustainability must reflect the realities of countries like ours, where resilience is built not in boardrooms alone, but in farms, villages, coastlines, and informal economies. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we look ahead, let us remember that infrastructure is not just about what we build, but about what we enable. It is about enabling a child to study safely at school, a farmer to irrigate their crops in a changing climate, a family to access clean water, and an entrepreneur to bring their ideas to market. As we work to build national resilience, let us remember that it begins with people. By lifting them from poverty, securing their basic needs, and protecting their future in the face of climate change. Let this conference be a platform for bold commitments, for cross-border collaboration, and for transformational partnerships. We invite you to walk with us and to build systems that are not only strong, but also just. Not only resilient, but also regenerative. Not only modern, but also meaningful. Thank you for your presence, your partnership, and your purpose. May the outcomes of ICI 2025 serve as a foundation for a better, more connected, and more resilient world. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Kindly remain on the stage as we continue with the opening ceremony procession. And we also kindly invite the Minister of Public Works, the Minister of Transmigration, the Vice Minister of Housing and Settlement, the Vice Minister of Transportation, and the Vice Minister of Agrarian Affairs and Spatial Planning, Vice Head of National Land Agency, to join on stage for the opening ceremony procession. And the procession will be marked by touching the LED cube as seen on the stage by the Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development. Mr. Minister, be ready with your palm close by the LED cube. Under my count, in 3, 2, 1. The International Conference on Infrastructure 2025 is officially open. Please give a big round of applause for this prestigious moment. And now we invite Excellencies to have a group photo session to commemorate this prestigious moment. Very well, thank you very much. Excellencies, you may all return to your seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the opening ceremony of the International Conference on Infrastructure 2025. Once again, please give a big round of applause for the International Conference on Infrastructure 2025. It is a milestone indeed. And may this conference strengthen cross-sector collaboration and bring forth strategic solutions that advance Indonesia's infrastructure landscape. And the next session, a keynote speech by the Minister of Public Works of the Republic of Indonesia that will begin in a few minutes. It will highlight the theme, Building Resilient Foundations, Strengthening Core Infrastructure for Cities of Tomorrow. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us now welcome the Minister of Public Works of the Republic of Indonesia for the keynote speech. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace, mercy, and blessing be upon us all. His Excellency Coordinating Minister of Infrastructure and Regional Development, Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, and Madam Anissa, His Excellency Minister of Transportation, Pak Berita, Minister of Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises, UMKM, His Excellency Minister of Creative Economic, Bapak Rifki, Excellency of Vice Minister of ATR PPN, of Perumahan, Pak PKB, Excellency Deputy Chairman of Regional Representative Council, Pak Nurung, Her Excellency Vice Minister of Ibu Wamendagri. Maaf Bu, saya cari-cari, maaf. Para Gubernur, Wali Kota, Bupati yang hadir, Excellencies of Ambassadors from friendly and partners countries, of international organization, development institution, and global association, leaders of some private sectors, banking and state-owned enterprises, representative from academics and research institutions, all distinguished participants of Indonesia International Conference of Infrastructure. Good morning. Thank you very much for your time and to attend this important conference this morning. It is my great honor to join you all at the ICI, the Indonesia International Conference on Infrastructure, this year 2025. The theme that we carry today is Building Resilience Foundation for Cities of Tomorrow. It's actually more than just timely, but also essential, because we all know that future we talk about is actually already here. It's already been stated by our coordinator minister. Urban growth is rapidly accelerating. Global climate risks are rising. People expectations are evolving, and in this context, infrastructure must do more than ever before. Indonesia understands the challenge deeply, with more than 270 million citizens living across over 17,000 islands. Complexity is our everyday reality, but within that complexity, of course, lies the great opportunity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we in public sectors respond with 6 key principles on building resilient foundation. Namely, first, resilience, connectivity, sustainability, inclusivity, innovation, and good governance. These principles, believe, are not just strategies. They are part of our broader vision. A vision inspired by the Astacita, the 8 mission set by our elected president, Mr. Prabowo, and then the vice president, Mr. Gibran. And with those missions, especially number 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8, we see our role to uphold the dignity, to drive the transformation, to ensure fairness, to build with purpose. To translate this vision into action, we follow the 2025-2029 Medium-Term Development Plan. We call it RPJMN. It gives us a compass, a clear national direction, and at the center of that, we have what we call the PU 608 vision, which means an ICOR or incremental capital output ratio must be below 6, which means that we have to invest effectively, efficiently, smarter. It's not, that means it's not just bigger, but has to be effective and efficient. We have to have to live the poverty, to reach the zero poverty, because every road and if every pipe that we build must live life. And also 8% economic growth within 2029, because resilience must also bring prosperity. Moreover, allow me to highlight several key initiatives, not only an examples of our progress, but as an open invitation for more collaboration and investment. These are, of course, the opportunities, real, ready, and aligned with our national priorities. For partners like you all to join hand in hand with us in Indonesia. First of all, we are currently transforming 50 cities through the National Urban Development Project in collaboration with national ministers and the World Bank. These cities are ready to embrace smart infrastructure, inclusive growth, and sustainability investment between the year of 2025 until 29. Second, we are putting ESG principle, environmental, social, and governance into real action with the help of the World Bank, of course. Guided also by the ministerial regulation and applied across all of our infrastructure programs currently. Our sustainable buildings now save up to 83% of water and 35% of energy. As I mentioned earlier, in collaboration with the World Bank, we have already integrated these principles into the PPP project, public-private partnership, that is Janata Mini Power Hydro Plant and Sadawarna Dam. We are also working with the Australian government to develop the Gerin tools, greenhouse emission reduction in infrastructure, to measure and monitor the emissions. These efforts actually reflect Indonesia's readiness for responsibility of the high impact investment. Third, we are currently building the Giant Seawall program, extending across from Cilegon up to Gresik and the East Java to protect our northern coast and communities. Project like the Jakarta Seawall and also currently the Semarang Demak toll opens door for long-term investment and integrated climate resilience. Fourth, we are utilizing existing, ongoing, and new proposed dam. It's not just for the irrigation, but for the renewable energy and also power partnership. Some dam projects like Arsari, Muara Jula, and Pentarang Dam are examples where investment and innovation can come together under the scheme of public-private partnership, especially on captive power models. Fifth, we are also leading in waste management reform with 10 waste-to-energy pilot project, including intermediate treatment facility in Cilacap, Suruan, and some other place. These cities are definitely looking for partners to scale up the operation and replicate sustainable solution. Six, we are also securing clean water through, let's say, Jatiluhur first project, a public-private partnership that supplies about 5,700 liters per second to Greater Jakarta. And at the same time, we are improving our irrigation system, especially to cut the agriculture water use from 80% to 60%. We are currently has been successfully tried within our West Java area. It shows how infrastructure can both climate resilient and also commercially viable. As Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, resilience doesn't come from concrete alone, but it also comes from how we think, how we plan, and how we engage. That's why we also focus on 4 supporting strategies, which are smart infrastructure, definitely powered by AI, artificial intelligence, and also digital tools to optimize traffic, save energy, and improve disaster response. Secondly, the green urban planning with more public space, better transit, and buildings that adapt to climate change. Third is the resilient construction to withstand floods, earthquakes, and extreme weather. Last but not least is the community engagement, because cities thrive when people are part of the story. All of this part of our national development strategy. So it is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and Paris Agreement, and definitely is open to ideas, collaboration, and definitely to partnership. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, strengthening infrastructure to the future means rethinking our approach from capacity to resilience, from scale to purpose, from short-term delivery to long-term sustainability. And we all know that no country can do this alone. We strongly believe in partnership within the governments, financial institutions, the private sectors, and development sectors. Let us build it together, because the city of tomorrow definitely depend on these choices that we make today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this forum, the ICI, is more than a conference. It is actually a space to share ideas, showcase technologies, and commit to action. And I sincerely hope, because of the spirit in this room, is the spirit of shared progress. Let me close our remarks with more remarks. Tomorrow, infrastructure must be smarter, greener, and shall be built together. And that begins with the trust. That's why we are pleased to continue our effort to continue deregulation, to make rules more clearer, process more faster, and the investment itself more seamless. Hence, to meet our 2025-2029 target, we require over about 1,900 trillions in funding, and with the government limited fiscal covering only about 60%, which means that the rest must come from smart and collaborative financing. We are ready to offer about 55 PPP project, and sincerely hope within today ICI, 9 of them with about 90 trillion are open for new investment. Let this be our call to build not only the infrastructure, but impact that really lasts. This is our moment. Let's join hands together and build the infrastructure that truly matters, especially for our country, Indonesia. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for your remarks, Your Excellency. Please kindly remain on the stage as we continue with the MOU signing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now proceed to the signing of MOU between the Ministry of Public Works of the Republic of Indonesia and the government of the Special Capital Region of Jakarta, Republic of Indonesia. So Therefore, we invite the signatories to please come forward. The Director General of Water Resources, Ministry of Public Works, Ibu Lili Retno Cahyadiningsih, please come forward. And Regional Secretary of Jakarta Capital City Government, Bapak Marullah Matali. And the signing will be witnessed by the Coordinating Minister for Infrastructure and Regional Development of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, and the Minister of Public Works, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Dodi Hanggodo. Let us now proceed with the MOU signing. Please, signatories, proceed with the signing. This agreement symbolizes a strategic synergy in planning, implementing, and managing the establishment of integrated development in the coast of the nation's capital, Jakarta Bay Phase A. And let's use this opportunity for a photo session. And please show the MOU document to the cameras. Thank you, Excellencies. Thank you, everyone. You may all return to your seats. And once again, let's give a big round of applause for the commemorative of this important collaborations for infrastructure of Indonesia. And once again, we convey our sincere appreciation to the Minister of Public Works for their gracious presence and their continued commitment to Indonesia's infrastructure agenda. And ladies and gentlemen, our next session will begin shortly. As we transition into our next agenda, just a gentle reminder, for those of you who require interpretation devices, they are available near the door. So please feel free to use the channels that you need as designated languages are available. Should you need any assistance, our team are on standby by the entrance door and be more happy to assist you. And I trust everyone is in high spirits and ready to engage fully in the days ahead. It is said that a strong infrastructure builds a strong nation, and we believe that this conference will strengthen both our networks and our vision for the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, kindly remain in the room as our next session will be started very soon. And this morning, we'll commence with the first plenary session centered on the theme that is critical to the future of our urban landscapes, future-proofing cities, revitalizing basic urban infrastructure. We know that cities today are growing at an unprecedented pace, and with that growth comes the challenge to keep up with basic infrastructure needs that are inclusive, sustainable, and climate response. This session will shed light on how we can rethink and rebuild the foundations of our cities, that they are not only able to withstand future challenges, but also thrive. And together, we will explore strategic approaches to transform our cities into engines of sustainable growth with a focus on key areas such as water supply and sanitation, solid waste management, energy and electrification, digital connectivity, and urban mobility through public transportation. These basic services may sound simple, but they are, in fact, the backbone of a functioning, future-ready city. And we'll focus also on investing in and revitalizing these essential infrastructures. We can build cities that are not only smarter and more efficient, but also more resilient, equitable, and humane. So please stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're just moments away from kicking off this important session. Ladies and gentlemen, just a gentle reminder that our next session, which is the first plenary session, will begin very soon. So please stay at the plenary hall. Once again, we'll start our session very soon. So please be ready and make way to your seats. Thank you. Very well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll start with the first session of the day. We now move into our first panel session for today, framed under the theme, Future-Proofing Cities, Revitalizing Basic Urban Infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia's urban landscape is transforming at an unprecedented pace, with urban population having doubled in the last 25 years, reaching approximately 168 million people. And cities are now home to over 60% of our total population. So this session will delve into the urgent imperative to strengthen basic urban infrastructure, including water and sanitation, waste management, energy, public transportation, and digital connectivity, ensuring Indonesian cities are not only livable and efficient, but also resilient and ready for the future. And we're ready to start, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to introduce the moderator as well as speakers on this important session. Let's invite our moderator, Water GP Global Director of the World Bank. Please welcome Mr. Saroj Kumar Jha. And the speakers on this session, Assistant for Development and Environment of the Regional Secretary for Jakarta Province, Bapak Afan Adriansah Idris. Please come forward. Also, let's invite Acting Governor of East Java, Bapak Emil Dardak, Chairman of the Indonesia Water Supply Association, or Perpamsi, Bapak Arif Wisnu Cahyono, and the last speaker, Network Director of PT Telkom Indonesia Persero Tbk, Bapak Nanang Hendarno. And without further ado, I'll hand over the stage to our moderator.
May I request everyone to kindly take their seats, please, so that we can get started. We have a very distinguished panel. So first of all, a very warm good morning again to all of you. My name is Saroj Kumar Jha. I'm the World Bank's Global Director for Water Global Practice in Washington, D.C. And I want to thank the Government of Indonesia, the Coordinating Ministry for Infrastructure, and the entire government actually for inviting the World Bank Group to be part of it. At the World Bank Group, we are very privileged to be a long-standing partner of the people and the government of Indonesia. And me personally, I'm very happy to be part of this and trying to moderate a panel which is on a very exciting topic. The topic for this plenary, the first plenary, is future-proofing cities, revitalizing basic urban infrastructure. Let me begin by asking a question. I know you don't have a mic, but you can shout from if you have the answer. Can anyone tell me the name of a future-proof city today? Is there any city which is considered future-proof by various global analysts and ranking organizations? Anyone? Globally. Anyone wants to make a guess? Singapore. Any more guesses? Anybody else?
China,
Shenzhen. So there are future-proof cities today in the world, including New York, London, Paris, Melbourne, Edinburgh, and of course many other cities' names were mentioned. But if you really look across these cities, can anyone tell me what is common among all these cities? Any guesses? What is common among these cities? The most common element among the future-proof cities not today is the presence of technological hub. All these cities have very strong presence of tech startups, unicorns. Really, you have a very large pool of talent trying to solve tomorrow's problems today. So I think that particular element of uniqueness of the future-proof cities tells you something about what we should be doing to really looking forward. But three broad elements, and then I'll turn to the panel, that we need to keep in mind why and how we could work towards future-proofing city. One is, of course, the talent that I just mentioned. No city will be future-proof without talent. So the city governments, stakeholders will have to work towards retaining and supporting high talent in the cities. The second is this whole issue of managing technological change. Things are changing very, very rapidly. So how do cities really, and more broadly the urban ecosystem, establish the capacity both in terms of policy and regulations to be able to benefit from the technological change and not be impacted adversely by the technological changes that are happening? And three, which I think is important, is the agility. If you have a city or the urban system which takes time to respond to the changes, you are not future-proof. You have to be really agile. You got to create a system where all stakeholders quickly come together and kind of respond to those threats, whether natural disasters, technological changes, cyber security, etc. We are able to move very, very quickly in that. So with those introductory remarks on my side, I'm going to introduce the panel we have. And the way I'm going to do it is that each panelist will have 3 minutes, will have 3 rounds of questions. First question will be focused on strategy. The second question will be focused on looking forward, looking ahead, anticipating challenges and what plans they're putting in place to deal with them. And the third will be about financing, because I heard the coordinating minister for infrastructure talked about innovative financing, and you definitely need investments if you really want to make the city future-proof. So I have 4 distinguished panelists, as I said. First, I want to introduce Pak Afan Adrian Shah Idris, Assistant for Development and Environment of the Regional Secretary of the Jakarta Province. Welcome, sir. Pak Afan, as the Assistant for Development and Environment of the Regional Secretary at the Jakarta Province, he has a master's degree in General Economics from University Padjadran and a bachelor's degree in Civil Engineering from the Universitas Trisakti. He brings a multidisciplinary approach to sustainable urban development. His role focuses on integrating environment policy with infrastructure planning to support Jakarta's vision for becoming a resilient and inclusive city. Welcome, Pak Afan. Next, I want to welcome Pak Emil Dardak, Acting Governor of East Java. It's great to have you on the panel, sir. Emil, born on, I will not disclose his date of birth. Emil serves as the Vice Governor of East Java. Prior to this role, he was the Regent of Trenggalek Regency from 2016 to 2019. He is an alumnus of the Raffles Institution, University of New South Wales, and Ritsu Maikan Asia Pacific University, where he earned a doctorate in development economics at age 22. Wow. Dardak has also completed an MSc at the St. Anne's College, Oxford. His career includes being a World Bank officer. It's great to have a World Bank colleague on the panel. And Executive Vice President at PT Penjaminan Infrastructure Indonesia. He assumed the Vice Governor position alongside Governor Khofia Indra Perwansa after winning the 2018 East Java governorial election. Thank you. Welcome on the panel, Pak. Next we have Pak Arief Vishnu Kahayono. My pronunciation is going to be terrible, but my apologies in advance. Pak Vishnu is the chairman of Indonesia Water Supply Association. He is an experienced water professional, currently serving as the managing director of Surabaya City Water Supply Utility, which delivers clean water to over 3 million people with nearly 100% service coverage. He's also the chairman of Permamsi, the Indonesia Water Supply Association, representing 445 utilities and 73 water-related companies. It's great to have you on the panel. I know we have a water and wastewater forum coming up in the afternoon, and all of you, please do come to that forum in the afternoon. I'm doing some promotion for you, given my interest in water agenda. And last but not the least, Pak Nanang Hendrano, the Chief Technology Officer of the PT Telecom Indonesia. Nanang Hendrano currently serves as the Chief Technology Officer of the Telcom Group and bringing over 3 decades of leadership in telecommunications and digital infrastructure. With a solid foundation in electrical engineering from the Institute, Technology, Sepula, November, and a Master's in Space System Engineering from the Delft University of Technology, Nanang has held strategic roles across Telecom Group. He has a very impressive bio. So welcome, Pak Nanang, to the panel. I'm going to start with you, Pak Afan, and this is going to be a question to all of you. I really want to understand where you sit in Jakarta government. What's your strategy for future-proofing this city? Because we heard a lot about sinking city, problems of subsidence, flooding, droughts, and you're doing a lot. I can see a vibrant city. What's really your strategy? You have a microphone next to you. Yeah, this is different with this. Sorry? This is different with this. Sorry? The question is what? You can say what you want to say. Because okay, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Farrods. In this good opportunity, please allow me to explain about our experience, how to manage the transportation in Jakarta. In Jakarta, we part of the Greater Jakarta, and for the Greater Jakarta, totally we have 88 million trips per day, according to the JP study on 2018, and we in Jakarta, we have 31 million trips per day. This is a huge enough number, yeah. But unfortunately, only 12% from the citizen using the public transport. So it's still a little amount, yeah. So we in Jakarta, for the solution, according to our document, midterm planning and spatial planning, we have target by 2030, 27% of the public transport, of the citizen using the public transport. And according to the spatial planning, by 2044, around 55% from the citizen using the public transport. And how to achieve? We have some strategy. The first about push strategy. Here, you know that we have an odd-even plate number policy now implemented in 26 routes. And the second, we also have the parking disincentive policy implemented in 51 locations. And now the new one, every Wednesday, it starts this month, the governor order to the whole employee of DKI Jakarta, we have to use the public transport. That's the push strategy. And the pull strategy, you know that now we expand for integrating our network for MRT, LRT, and Transjakarta, also microtrans. And MRT will be accomplished in 2027 until Monas. And for MRT East-West, it will be accomplished until 2032. And the LRT will be accomplished next year. And the other, for the new route of the Transjakarta, the governor declared for the new 5 routes of Jakarta to Alam Sutra, Pik, Vida, kemudian Bogor, and also Sawangan. And now already serving for 17,000 passengers per day. And what is the importance of pull factor in Jakarta? We provide a flat fare system via Jaklingko, and it's very cheap. Only you have to pay 10,000 rupiah. And the new one, policy from the governor, we give the free fares for 15 eligible groups for free access to public transportation. And the important subject for the full factor, we in Jakarta providing some aesthetic infrastructure, and maybe you know, like Halte Hotel Indonesia and JPO PDC, why we create for the aesthetic infrastructure, because we want to give the new experience for the whole citizen using the public transport in Jakarta. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This is very impressive. I must tell you that I was visiting Bogor city day for yesterday. Of course, we were looking at the water supply and sanitation services, and the tremendous progress has been made in this city, but I guess you have a lot of work ahead of you. I realize that at least 50% people do not have access to safely managed drinking water. So I guess some of these issues will be addressed by the government as part of the future-proofing strategy. But let me go to Pak Dardak, the acting governor of East Java. As a regional government, what's your strategy for future-proofing East Java? I know the organizers had mentioned specific sectors in which you will be answering your question, but you have the freedom in talking about the strategy. Either you talk about the whole of the region, whole of the government, or you can choose your sector that was mentioned to you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Saroji. I think it's a very intriguing topic when you actually ask about future-proofing. In the opening ceremony, we saw the video said that 60% of our population in Indonesia is living in urban areas. And when you actually say, how do we future-proof East Java, I think the topic is saying, how do you future-proof cities? And East Java comprises of 38 municipalities, 9 of which are administratively categorized as urban municipalities or cities that are being led by mayors. And the other 29 are led by what we call as regions or region mayors, because they are not cities in terms of the land use, predominantly agriculture, natural resources. Now, how do we talk about the 9 cities? And when we talk about future-proofing cities, I think your question towards Jakarta was very specific. Like, people say your future is going to depend upon whether you're going to sink or not, right? That's a very specific question. Now, are other cities facing this same challenge? I think, first of all, when you talk about what happens in the future, is whether the city will cease to exist in the future. Is it because of the economic redundancy? We know some cities rely heavily on a particular anchor industry, or maybe a mining town that were up, and by the time the deposit is gone, then the city also ceases to exist because there's no economic continuity for that city to sustain itself. Now, when we talk about that, then then cities have to, as you mentioned earlier, strive to remain relevant to the continuous change in the economic world. Whether they're able to shift into relying on natural resources, and they can actually rely on the human resources, the talent pool. We see how the emergence of San Jose as the Silicon Valley is basically relying upon bringing in talents from all across the world. They have Stanford, which is nearby, and then it becomes a digital hub. And we're seeing Bangalore in India developing because of the growth of what was initially simple outsourcing of some basic IT services into becoming also a very strong digital hub. Similarly, like Shenzhen was a really buffer area of Hong Kong. People went there to buy some very very good, similar products. I don't want to say that, you know the word I mean, but it's things that you thought were branded but not, and it was sold at a cheap price with a decent quality back then. That was back in the 2007, 2008. Now, so when we talk about future-proofing cities, but our theme today is infrastructure. So when we talk about infrastructure, I think it's very important that every planners believe that they are future-proofing their cities when they do the planning. The spatial planning is going to coincide with what we call as a long-term plan. We have a 20 to 25 years long-term plan. And then you will have in each segment 5 years development plan. I just want to campaign with my governor, and we have a 5-year development plan that is being prepared right now. We're finalizing it. So we believe that when we actually do a plan, what are the factors or the threats, so-called threats that you mentioned? I think one of the utmost, if we put aside the question of economic redundancy, is really the ecological carrying capacity. Cities have ecological footprint that span beyond its physical size. And it consumes resources, water, energy, and then how it manages its waste. We have like, overall in Surabaya, every day, 1,500 tons of waste are being sent to the final dumping site. That is already considering the fact that we are reducing about 15 to 25% of the waste by reusing, by recycling. But still, you will have waste being produced. So what are the drivers of cities meeting its limits? It will be population growth, whether the city can sustain population growth, and also whether the city will, given the population growth, it will run out of fresh water. There's also concern that even, let's say the population stagnates in the worst case, it will also face scarcity of critical resources that are needed to sustain the city. You have the same population, but the source of water that you have been relying upon is reducing, is facing a declining water volume, for example. Or a particular city is going to be stretched because of the growth of adjacent municipalities. So all this, I think, is, to start the answer, I'm giving you an insights on the thinking of planners in various cities, that everyone try to future-proof, and I would like to go to ecological constraints as the biggest driver for a city's future-proofing.
Thank you, Emil. And one, so I'll turn to Park Vishnu, but I wanted to quickly reflect. I was recently visiting the city of Cape Town in South Africa. Can anyone tell me why the city of Cape Town has been in the news for some time?
The drought.
Yeah, day zero.
Zero.
So I was with the mayor and the entire city officials a couple of months back, and they explained to me as to what day zero actually means. The day zero essentially would mean that there were basically only 3 days of water left in the city to provide even 3 hours of water per day to each household. So they basically 3 days, they were kind of close to -3 when they started, of course, implementing a number of measures, including demand management, rationing, and so on and so forth, and delivering water not through pipe but through tankers at certain locations based on et cetera, et cetera. The point I'm trying to make is that the city's ability to anticipate challenges and factor that in the planning is going to be extremely important. The mayor of Cape Town was telling me they have put together a 20-year investment plan for the city, not just for water, but all the other infrastructure. How many cities are really planning for 20 years investment today? So the question to you, Park Vishnu, is for Indonesia, where in most cities today, close to 50 to 60% people have access to improved, let's say, drinking water. You have a long way to go in future proofing. What's the strategy for the water sector in Indonesia for future proofing the urban areas?
Okay, thank you, Pak Saroj. But I'm deeply sorry to say that no one cities in Indonesia that city-proof for the future, especially in terms of water resilience. Let me say, take a sample for the Surabaya city. But before I take a sample for Surabaya case, let me represent as a Perpamsi. I will take some data that we have today. The Perpamsi is the association for the local water operators. We have 445 members. And the majority of them is local state-owned enterprise, while only 24 are local government agencies that we call UPT. And then, of course, our members play a crucial role in addressing water security and equitable distribution across the nation. Unfortunately, yeah, only half of our members are able to make a good profit. Yeah. Furthermore, only 64 enterprise in terms of economic skill serve more than 50,000 connection. Only 64. Yeah, from the 400 members, 400 water operator. Yeah, and based on the 2023 data, yeah, right now we achieve only 22% yeah, coverage service nationally. Yeah, that's equivalent to 16 million connection. Yeah, compared to our national target, yeah, in 2029, yeah, we need to achieve 40%. Yeah, from it's been double from 22% and 100% in 2045. Yeah, in Indonesia Mas. That means that in less than 5 years we have to double our production capacity, and of course upgrading the existing facilities, and of course expand in distribution network within 5 years. Yeah, even within less than 20 years we have to 5 times, yeah, from 22% to 100%. Another side, in terms of water management efficiency, we should be seriously concerned about water leakage, non-revenue water. Yeah, right now the national NRW is on still 32%. We have to achieve 25% that determined by the government. We have big leaks, yeah, and of course inaccuracies in math readings, yeah, and most of our members are facing issues with aging water meters. Yeah, even in Surabaya we have 300 meters with 5-year age, more than 5-year age. Even I have still 20 years water meters still installed in our connection. Yeah. Of course, we need a significant investment to replace, yeah, and even to reduce the NRW. If you're using the higher accuracy of the water meters, it means we have to install the ultrasonic meters with the higher ratio. It means when the investment should be triple of the existing meters. And then we need to ensure the equitable distribution of water service to all the segments of society, particularly for the underprivileged. This involves implementing affordable tariff structures. Yeah. As you may know, in fact, there are no subsidies for water tariffs. Yeah. As well as electricity and fuel. Yeah. No subsidies. Yeah. In the current situation, only few local governments provide subsidies, which are taken from their local government budgets. Most of our members apply cross-subsidies. This is the big challenge that are facing our members. And then our population projection into 2045 is around 318 million, which is equivalent to 70 million household connection.
Yeah.
So within the next 3 years, the projection indicates the urban population will reach 65%. Therefore, the water infrastructure must be prepared from now for the major city. And in the Surabaya, the problem for the Surabaya. Okay, right now we pride that Surabaya already achieved 100% service coverage, but yeah, the quality of the water doesn't meet the requirement of the drinking water. Yeah, because you know we have 6,300 kilometers pipeline distribution. Yeah, but most of them even more than 50%. Yeah, the aging more than 50 years. Yeah, and then the investment to replace to at least for 50% of the total pipeline length is need by the price right now is about 5 trillion. Yeah, so who will cover these investments? Yeah, this is a problem. Okay.
No, it's very good, Park Vishnu, and you know I've been here for the last few days and meeting the officials in the Ministry of Public Works who are responsible for water here. Today, the coordinating minister for infrastructure talked about the priorities of the president, food, water, and energy security. I think that gives everyone working in that space to really come up with a long-term vision for water security. It might take longer than 5 years, but I think it's good to have a plan. And that's the point I was making about city of Cape Town. They cannot solve all their water problems in 5 years. So that's why they're thinking of 20 years. When you plan long-term for future-proof a city, let's say for water or for energy, the investors have more confidence. When they see a city is coming up with a long-term plan, everybody is more interested to work with you because they know where you want to go. And the risk for investing in those markets is much lower than other markets where there is no predictability where the future is going to look like. So I would strongly encourage you to really benefit from the current political momentum that you have in this country to really look forward and look beyond. Let me turn to Pak Nanang about the telecom sector. I think the question to you is, telecom sector actually is perhaps, in my view, the backbone of the future, or the present actually, not the future. It will remain the future of any society as we can see today. I just read today that, you may have seen it, that the Meta is planning to invest another $15 billion in scale AI. The amount of money being invested in AI is unimaginable. And it just tells you that we should really prepare for a world which is very different from what it looks today. As somebody said that today the kind of jobs that we have in the global market, more than 50% of these jobs did not exist 5 years back. So the question to you is, in the telecom sector, what have you been doing to future-proof urban ecosystem of Indonesia? And if you could kindly be specific to your sector, then I want to turn to a rapid-fire round because we have only 19 minutes left. And I want to make sure that all 4 of you and the audience is sufficiently stimulated for preparing for a future-proof Indonesia. But please go ahead, Pak Nanang.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. Because we are running out of time, only 20 minutes left. Make it short that basically telecom is ready and fully support to deploying a digital network within cities across Indonesia. Actually, we have already deployed more than 17 million ports for supporting fixed broadband, home pass, and home connected around Indonesia. And we have more than 280,000 BTSs, 4G and 5Gs operated in Indonesia. We have currently deploying 5G's network intensively in Jakarta and Surabaya and also Bali to support digital networking across cities in Indonesia. So that means that telecom is ready to support what government want to enhance cities, to make a smart city in Indonesia. We also equip our infrastructures, which is very extensive and advanced infrastructure with the cybersecurity features to make it the bandwidth more secure, to make people out of hackers, to make it protected, and data will be protected within the network. So our strategy here to make extensive deployment of fiber optics, connected homes, and we also deploy the core network and also the infrastructure, not only in Indonesia, but also outside Indonesia to connect contents and applications that are required by the government and also people in Indonesia. I think basically telecom will and always support what the government needs to make the cities smart and advanced and future-proof.
Thank you very much, Pak Nanang. So what I'm going to do now is that we have about 17 minutes left, and I'm going to throw a few questions. Any of you can come in, whosoever is ready. I'm not going to follow the same sequence as we did before. Is that okay? So my question is the following. The main objective of this international conference, among a few others, is to accelerate investment realization for Indonesia in the priority sectors of the government, right? Now here we are talking about accelerating investment for future proofing of cities. So my question to you is, what is your plan? Because one of the elements of financing investments is going to be working with private sector. Focus on policy and regulatory space, addressing those business environment constraints, making it easier for people to invest, both Indonesian companies and cross-border investments. How do you see the way forward from where you sit? What are your proposals? What are you thinking about it? How do you accelerate investment? Who wants to come in? It could be a regional government, it could be a city government, it could be water sector, it could be telecom, but this is your chance to take the floor and tell us what your plans are. Please, yes.
All right, okay. Well, you know, I think going back to the question of future-proofing and infrastructure, one way we would future-proof our cities is by building the infrastructure that expands the capacity to cater to the growing population. We build dams because we need, you know, we need more water for potable use or for irrigation to actually sustain a growing population. And that is really the essence. Now, however, when we actually look into infrastructure, some of these are actually infrastructure that, you know, has to be built by the government, and some can actually involve private sector in its financing. So again, the question is whether there is the money behind. Now, I think when, you know, when we look into public-private partnership, you would respond with mixed feelings, because some projects actually turn out, you know, we had this what we call as public sector comparator as a way to see whether PPP is going to provide a better modality compared to a conventional public procurement, a traditional delivery. And now we're seeing actually a mixture of both. I think when government goes to a private sector because they don't have enough money to build infrastructure, sometimes then, you know, there is also a misconception on the importance of the infrastructure itself. You mentioned about there, you know, the way water utility subsidized is by having the richer bracket of the tariff compensate those with the lower bracket of the tariff, which is called cross-subsidy. But we also have viability gap fund, where the government subsidizes half of the capex in order to reduce the required tariff to justify the level of the rate of return. So I think you know, what the president wants and what the coordinating minister wants is for us to really work hard on welcoming investments into infrastructure. And I think we're shifting from a model where we say, look, we're going to open infrastructure investment, but the private sector has to be the one who really wants it to happen. They come in and then they can make this project work commercially. I think we are all past that. We understand that all too often we would encounter infrastructure projects where the government needs to have a skin in the game. Either they bear contingent liabilities. We have the CEO of IAGF here. The government has to share the risk and not pass on the risk to the private sector, because that would cause the project to have a too high of a risk premium, makes it costly, or even also participate in the funding of the project by mean of, you know, sharing revenue. Now, in short, I would like to say that what's our plan? When we actually plan our fiscal resources, it's the simplest way, especially in the local government politics, is to assume traditional delivery. And for PPP, we simply just say, look, the private sector is going to pay for everything. I think we're going one step further now to start identifying how we would then use fiscal resources to partake in infrastructure capex or in provisioning for, like we have provisioned for contingent liabilities in the event of any shortfall in some of the important parameters of a PPP project. We are doing that in a water project right now as we speak. I think that's one of the view that we see.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Pak Emil. Would you like to come in, Pak Narang, on telecom?
Yes.
What's your investment strategy?
as you know that the telecom is very intensive capex. We have to deploy infrastructures, data centers, equipments, which we know we need a lot of capex. But in return, we really do not know exactly because now with very high competition in Indonesia and also abroad. So I think we need also collaboration among industries and also the government to make a regulation to secure our investment here in Indonesia, to give a fair play among players in Indonesia and also from outside.
Excellent. Would you like to say anything, Pak Afan?
Okay, Mr. Saroj, I would like to share our experience in Jakarta and also our strategy for the future. In several years, we in Jakarta improve for the creative financing. So not all infrastructure in Jakarta financed by the APBD or APBN. We finance by the creative financing. Like you know, in Semanggi, we have one, and several bridges in Sudirman and Tamrin, and also some bus station close to HI and Tosari. All of them financed with the creative financing. We use the exit of the floor ratio in Jakarta. You know, actually many developers or many landowners, they would like to optimization for their land because the land price in Jakarta is very high. So they would like to construct the building very high. So they must be exit the limit of the floor ratio. And they have to pay, and the form is in infrastructure, not in financial. So in the future, we will optimization for the creative financing to build many infrastructure than needed by the citizen of the Jakarta. Thank you very much.
Pak Vishnu.
Okay, answering your question, Pak Saroj. I always remember Bu Irma said regarding the peer. Remember Bu Irma? Policy, institution, and regulation. Yeah, I think for the water sector, yeah, what we need right now is Water X. Yeah. Water is very vital for the human being, right? But we have no Water Act right now. Yeah. So we propose to the government within our water forum in Denpasar, Bu Irma, you remember that Perpamsi proposed we propose that we need Water Act or maybe Water and Domestic Waste Act. Yeah. Compared to our neighbor, yeah, the city of Malaysia, yeah, they have a Water Act, very very complete, and even they have for the institution, they even also have the PAAB, Pengurusan Aset Air Berhad, yeah. So they will take care all the infrastructure in the among the country, yeah. They will give financing to the water operator for 45 years, and the rate only 3%, compared to the SMI. Yeah, the rate still 6%, with a lot of negotiation, hard negotiation, you know. So the one thing is the policy. We need the Water Act, yeah, and the institution. We need I don't know, the national entity that will take over all the water business from the source till to tap, yeah, and then the regulation, yeah. I think no one of the investor want to B2B partnership with the local operator if the tariff still less than FCR, cannot cover the full cost recovery, yeah. Our more than 15% of our members still apply the tariff less than full cost recovery. That's the problem. So we need a regulation that regulate the tariff among all the water operator should be meet the economical scale. Yeah. Let's say for the Jakarta. Jakarta has a B2B business, right, Pak Arfan, with Moya, I think, yeah, with the value is around 33 trillion. Is that correct, Pak? Yeah, but the situation right now, they have to increase the price. Yeah, from the average tariff, I think from 7,000 to more than 10,000. Yeah, same with the Surabaya. Surabaya for more than 70 years, the tariff still less than, not increased. Yeah, after 70 years, we increased from 30,000 to 40,000. Yeah, so that's why the investor want to join us in B2B partnership. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. I wanted to ask a question to each one of you, something that organizers asked us to discuss is, so in our aspirations for a future-proof city in Indonesia, future-proof urban space, how do we make sure that we do not lose sight of poor and vulnerable communities? Because there's always a risk that when things are changing rapidly because of technology, smart infrastructure, not everybody is able to kind of move at the same space. There are poorer people living in a city. How do you make sure that everything that you do in your space, in telecom, in water, in regional government, in city government, no one is left behind? How do you make sure that you take care of poor and vulnerable people? I guess this question is more relevant for Pak Emil and Pak Afan, but others also please come in. I want to make sure that this point is not ignored, because there's still poverty, there is still an issue of access for many people in areas. Who'd like to come in? Pak Emil?
Since you pointed out, just give you an illustration. When we talk about future proofing, sometimes it's something inevitable because of external factors. Sometimes we're just committing suicide on the long term by actually designing cities that are not going to be sustainable, that are hurting its resources. Now, as you mentioned earlier, one of the things is extraction of groundwater. So very often the poor community relies on abstracting groundwater, and they do not have access to reticulated water. And so when we actually try to future-proof the city by relying on a more sustainable water resource, we use certain wells that actually retain water. Those who will benefit the most are actually the marginalized people, because they're the ones who are immediately affected by all these setbacks that are happening in cities. So I'm more of the view that when we try to future-proof cities by improving the infrastructure that ensures people have access to the amenities they need, the immediate beneficiary of such infrastructure would actually be those marginalized people. I mean, sometimes they live in slums on the riverside, causing unsustainable river that has deteriorating quality, biologically, or also other aspects that jeopardize the reliability of the fresh water, for example. So when we actually deal with the settlements for these people, it goes in line into creating a more sustainable river and a sustainable settlements for the marginalized community. That's actually my view.
Excellent. Anybody else wants to take this question? Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Pak Nanang, yeah.
Telco.
And quick.
Okay. Telco sector duty is to provide connectivity to all people, we also have many solutions for the richest till to the poor, with the different technology and the different price. So with that scheme, I believe that we can serve all people that we need connectivity in Indonesia.
Thank you. Pak Afan.
Okay, Mr. Saroj. To help many citizens coming from the marginalized group in Jakarta, since May 2025, the governor of Jakarta, Mr. Pramono Anung, established the new regulation. We expand the category for eligible groups in Jakarta that could get the free access for public transport in Jakarta. So they can use our MRT, BRT free with no charge. The category that expand are first, person with disability. And the second is senior citizens aged more than 60 years. And third, worship place caretaker. And the fourth, educator and teaching staff in early childhood education. We call it in Indonesia PAUD. This is the popular name. And the fifth is the mosquito nest monitoring workers. We call it in Jakarta Jumantik, juru pemantau jentik nyamuk. So we expand the category of eligible groups, and they get the free access to our public transport. Thank you.
Excellent. Very quick. Then I have the 1 minute left. Yeah.
Okay, regarding in terms of water technology, I think it's not rocket science, Pak. Yeah, but we have to strongly consider to apply seawater reverse osmosis due to the, raw water resiliency, because day by day the rainy season is coming shorter. So I think, especially this coastal city, we have to apply seawater reverse osmosis, Pak. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give you 10 seconds to each of you to visualize what will 2050 Indonesia urban space look like when we talk about future-proof. One sentence each. Just share your dream of 2050 Indonesia, a future-proof city. You can take Jakarta, you can take Balikpapan, you can take, I don't know all the cities in this country, but take any city of Bali. Tell me, 2050 of that city, a future-proof, what has come to your mind? I'll start from the end, Pak Nanang. Quick.
Everything will be in one hand with our gadget.
Everything will be under one, let's say, in a phone, on a tab, or in an app or something. Okay.
Exactly.
Pak Vishnu.
We have 4 taps, like Singapore. Yeah, so we can take the water not only from the river, but also
Our
from
time is up, so quick.
For water, for raining, and the sea water and reuse water.
Integrated water. Okay. New what? Pak Emil. 2050, your vision, yes.
Culture, technology, and ecology. Everything blends together.
Wonderful. Pak Afan.
Yeah, we in Jakarta, we will have many vertical housing, and also we will expand for the railway base and the BRT system in Jakarta. And we expand also for the green ratio in Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that brings us to the end of the panel. Please give them a round of applause. And I'm sorry, I hope I was not too difficult on you, but I was trying to get the most out of this panel. But thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to be moderating this. Thank you. And thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saroj Kumarja, to have led the moderated session. And we invite all speakers and the moderator for a group photo. So take center stage, please, and pose to the cameras. Once again, we invite the moderator and speakers to have a group photo together. And may we remember that very valuable 10 seconds from each speaker, as the dreams, hopefully, all will come true in the near future. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to the esteemed speakers and moderator for such a valuable and insightful discussion just now. Thank you. Excellencies, you may all return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our lunch break. So please enjoy your meal and take this opportunity to network and recharge, and perhaps having casual conversations with the future clients, the future collaborators. And at 12:30 p.m. we'll commence our thematic discussions that will be held across several parallel rooms. Each session will delve deeper into strategic issues shaping Indonesia's urban infrastructure. So please ensure that you attend the room and the theme that best align with your interest. And here are the thematic discussions and their respective venues for your information. At Merak 1, they will be having a discussion on powering growth, sustainable energy through infrastructure. At Plenary Hall, which is this hall, we'll be having Building a Connected Nation, Expanding Digital and Telco Infrastructure. And if you go to Merak 3, you'll find a discussion revolving around From Waste to Resource, Advancing Integrated Infrastructure for Waste Management. And at Merak 2, the discussion is on Moving Cities Forward, Public Transport as the Core of Urban Mobility. So once again, please make your way to the designated rooms with a thematic theme that align to your interest by 12:30 p.m. All sessions will run until 1:45 p.m. this afternoon. And we'll then return to the plenary session at 12:30 p.m. for a keynote address from the Minister of Home Affairs on the theme Empowering Local Governments, Serving Citizens, Strengthening Basic Urban Services. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have used the SIS devices, please kindly return the interpretation devices to the collection counter by the exit as you leave the room. Thank you for helping us keeping things running smoothly. Once again, after the lunch break, we'll have a keynote speech that will be delivered by the Home Affairs Minister, His Excellency Bapak Tito Karnavian. So please be ready to be back at the plenary before 12:30. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your break, explore the thematic sessions, and we look forward to welcoming you back to the plenary hall at 12:30 p.m. See you soon and enjoy your lunch.